Alright guys, welcome to another episode of the Sport Lounge on Elegbete TV. Well, in case you're wondering why you don't have your regular host here, Ojo Bamiji, well, there's not been a coup and we have not had a cabinet reshuffle. Bamiji was sent on loan to United for just a week. I'm not alone on the lounge today, guys. I have to my immediate left-hand side, Toby Dada. Toby is our boxing expert. I'm going to skip the man in the middle. I'm going to skip him. I have Benjamin Akai with me on the lounge today. Hi, Ben.
Yeah, I'm good.
It's good to have you back on the lounge. And then we have a big fish in the house, guys. We promised that one day he will be back here with us on the show. We have a Elegbete one.
I don't know whether I'll be big fish. But I miss the lounge. So, I mean, having Bam go to help Man United beat Pookie Norwich. I don't let me slot in and see how it feels like to be on the lounge. It feels good to be back,
We are absolutely delighted.
We
are talking about Pookie for those FPL fans. I don't know, for whatever reason, I still have Pookie in my FPL team and the guy keeps disappointing. So maybe it's time to yank Pookie off my FPL team.
For me, I don't do FPL. It was a deliberate decision. Okay, when I was on radio, I noticed that one of the abinja to objective analysis is all these my team thing. And you know that thing is, because you're an Arsenal fan, nothing is wrong with Arsenal. Very few people, Tony Becker, very few people like Emmanuel team are people who can watch a game and come on the air and talk and forget. Kalijai, our producer, when he's on air, you don't even know. You should let me not talk about the team he's supporting because you don't even know in the first place. Now, very few people, but other people are like that. So, to me, if you can be that passionate and lose your objectivity because of a club that you don't have control of, I'm wondering if I'm doing FPL. As passionate as I am, I'm a very passionate person. I'm seriously emotional. So it doesn't mean I don't have emotional intelligence, but I put everything into it. If I play on the weekend with these FPL players and they disappoint me, I don't know what I will go on air to say. So stay away from it. Keep my objectivity in that. That's the way I live it. But talking about Pookie, we all know that a player like Pookie would not last. It's like all those kind of Benteke kind of player who's just going to run and then the heat.
It goes dry.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I want to take a cue from one of the keywords you mentioned, emotion. Emotions ran wide, Benjamin, at Southampton last week, Friday. 0-9 at home. If you were a player in that dressing room, guy, what would you do?
I would have walked off before 90 minutes.
Walked off the pitch?
I'm serious. I would have just signaled the coach to
substitute you.
Like, it's done.
I'm going to jump back to you, Elegbete. You don't mind the fact that we will maximize every single second you spend here on the lounge with us.
Wow.
As someone who has not just experienced the game as a manager, as a player, but then as a manager and as a boardroom person, what would you have? Can you paint a picture of the dressing room scene for us? Maybe at halftime or even at full time, losing 0-9 in front of your home fans. And we know that cannot happen in the Nigerian league.
No, you can't.
Oh, seriously? Tell us something we don't know.
Okay, we were beating, what's it called now? I think I was playing for Dolphins. I was on loan to Dolphins. And Udoji United came and beat us 4-0. But it wasn't 4-0. If you consider the fact that 6 goals were disallowed in that game. Chukwundekwe was in that game for Dodgy United, if I can remember. It would have been up to 11 goals to nothing. That's one. I was also beaten in a game. It was a preseason game, but it was 5-0. I was in Sweden then, and we played against FC Copenhagen, and we beat them 5-0. But other than that, in the league game, professional game, apart from the Dodgy game, I've also lost 4-0 when I was in Europe. Now, the thing about the dressing room is at 5-0 and still counting, you already know that there is nothing the coach can do. This was the day Devil came to visit. This was the day that the tsunami was not announced, but it came like a thief in the night. There's absolutely nothing you would do. A smart coach would give the players a break. A crazy coach who is trying to impress management will go ranting and saying all sorts of things and then eventually lose his dressing room. But I think that, I coached the team, Gino Jaramax, for instance, 48 games and I lost only 2 games against Bisalo and Nire boys. And one was 4-2, one was 2-0. I think somebody like me, I take defeats all equally. Whether you beat me 9-0, you beat me 1-0, it's the same. I'm a Pep Guardiola, Jose Mourinho kind of coach. I don't want to lose. Now, as a club administrator, one of the biggest defeats we had was when I was with Banawa. Bender United came to Nikon Stadium and beat us 2-1. It wasn't because the referee robbed us. It wasn't because of anything. And we played our best. We played the kind of football that we used to play, and we beat people 3-0, 5-0, 4-0. But we lost that day, and then there was nothing I could do. You just go inside that dressing room, look at the players, and say, go. But 9-0, the pain is that it is a record in the league. It is going to stand for a very long time. 2 players scored a hat-trick. There are too many records in that game. Yours is to look for the next game. Should there be a Carabao Cup in the midweek? Look for the next game and bail yourself out, because these are the kind of game that leads to relegation. If you can't drag yourself out because you're going into the next game now, one of the key things that win matches for football clubs is confidence. Once confidence is low, it's the reason why Manchester United can go from up of the pendulum
You want to shake
to
this
the
table.
base of it.
You
It's
want
the
to
reason
shake
why
this
Arsenal,
United table.
no, it's the reason why Arsenal Football Club, for instance, nobody fear them anymore, because there's no confidence. You know, you're going into the next game and thinking, Arsenal can be leading 2-0, for instance, and you're still thinking, no, we know we can score them. We know they have a very weak spine. You understand? Manchester United, the same. You're playing against Manchester United, you're not afraid. So this kind of result can really lead to that. And if you're not strong, relegation is the next thing.
Oh, great. Relegation means somebody is going down. Toby Dada, the boxing perspective. You sure you will not have hit somebody in the face that day?
To me, it's total lack of respect from Leicester.
Leicester.
Yeah.
No, but
9-0.
it's not respect. There's a coach. Coach K will say, if you see who you strong pass, hold up for neck, beat and well. So that the next time when he hear your name, I'm going to see you. When he hear your name, he go run.
I mean,
But
Brenda,
anyways, Rogers is doing a fantastic job at the club, and
I agree with you.
that is commendable. That is very commendable.
Okay, so sticking with the EPL now, we cannot talk the EPL without talking about VAR. And let's compare the EPL with other leagues. La Liga, for example, at the end of the 2018-19 season, there was a review. And then they found out using VAR that 17% in-game protests dropped by 17%. 50 wrong penalty decisions by referees were overturned. So the general review was that the VAR had brought in some level of sanity into the La Liga. However, the same cannot be said in the Premier League. Manchester City had a 2-2 draw against Spurs, a very notable one, which could impact the final destination of the title at the end of the season because of a VAR decision. The last weekend, we saw a yellow card for Callum Hudson-Odoi, the Chelsea player, who was clipped in the box. A player in motion fell down, and then the referee awarded a spot kick. VAR overturned it. The referee awarded a yellow card, even though video reviews showed the guy was clipped in the box. What's your opinion of VAR? I'm going to come to you, but Ben, what's your opinion of VAR in the Premier League? Let's stick with the EPL.
I think the rules in Premier League alone is killing VAR. They have a kind of template already that they placed before VAR came. And after VAR came in, they didn't do a proper review. That review is still...
So you mean England have their own customized VAR?
They have a
custom VAR?
That's a custom VAR, because you check other leagues. Why is it working? La Liga started it before, very much before the top 5 league.
Okay.
And we had issue when they started, everyone was scared, like,
Will
this
it work or not?
The
Yeah.
El Clasico, Atletico Madrid, how will this pan out?
Yeah.
But we see the success.
Okay.
That said, let's come back to the English Premier League. I think where they got it wrong, and I'm still going to give them time, because the statistics you reel out about the La Liga is interesting. 50 penalties, wrongful penalties overturned. That's enough to send some teams to relegation. We check, define where the league title goes, define who's the highest goal scorer, a whole lot, a gamut of incidents that can play themselves out there. So this is what I want to say about the English league. The English pride themselves as people who don't copy people. They want to be pace setter. They claim that football started in England, even the Chinese will not agree to that. That's why they give us Kung Fu Soccer. But whatever it is in this evolution of the game, the English felt that time that the referee goes to watch viewing center, to go to the viewing center to watch a game before he takes a decision, was too long. It should depend on the phone call. But then we've seen the Spurs game. I think it was the Spurs
Sports
Liverpool.
against Watford.
Spurs Watford, where the ball touched the hand of
Yes, Dele Alli.
Dele Alli,
Yes.
and we saw on the screen
No
no
goal.
goal, but then goal was allowed.
That's
and
true.
then the penalty awarded against Leicester for Liverpool. That, to me, at the beginning of the season, after that Spurs Man City game, I said that this season the EPL have decided that Liverpool will win the league title. Now it is theirs to play and win it, because there are some calls that go easily for Liverpool that doesn't go for any other person. But when I was playing football, the existing players would say, referee no move with a little go. You know, it's hard to explain that in layman terms, but there's something called referee no move with a little go. So before I go reach go, he will cut him off. He's seen this thing play too much. So I think there are causes. Look at the penalty awarded to Arsenal for Zaha. That's the same thing that happened with Hudson-Odoi, that he was given a yellow card. So when you look at all of this, there's no consistency. What is lacking in England with the VAR is actually the lack of consistency. But I hope that they will review it again and correct it. Let's not forget that this is their first year. Let's not hit them too much. As Arsenal fans will say to me, don't be too hard on Nicolas Yaya, Sanogo Pepe. So let's not be too hard on Nicolas England VAR. After 2 seasons, we can come back.
Okay, now, so we are hoping that the VAR in England will not be the death of the Premier League. And talking about deaths, Toby, we've had one too many deaths in the sport of boxing.
Oh, God.
Toby.
And Toby still likes it.
Boxing is live, as I always tweet, but it's very unfortunate. We've had 4 deaths this year.
Wow.
Patrick Day of recent, Boris Stancho, Hugo Alfredo, and Dadashev, the Russian. It's very sad. It's very sad. But as after Patrick Day's death, Eddie Hearn, that the biggest promoter in boxing now, was calling for safe boxing, like more rules to be introduced to improve.
Eddie Hearn of all people.
Yes, Eddie
No,
actually.
but because a man is a bad person, does not mean you should not listen to his truth.
Actually, Eddie Hearn is not a bad person.
No, it's just a parable that my mom always say that because you hate that person does not mean you should not listen to his truth.
So, for example, my own take on that, for Patrick Day, his death might have been avoided.
Okay.
In that the corner could have thrown in the towel after the second knockdown, and he was taking so many punches to the head. He was trying to fight back, but you know it's not like it. And the last punch that eventually knocked him off, the way he went down on the canvas, his head hit the canvas, that was a very bad fall. It was in the almost at the center of the ring. So it's in fact made me think of Vladimir Klitschko, because Vladimir used to fight in Germany, and he pads his ring with lots of foam.
Yeah.
And though they say he does that to restrict the movement of his opponents that will try to use movement against him, but I also believe it's for protection. If someone's head was to hit the canvas in that ring, he will be protected. His head will not go all the way back, and some sort of internal cranial bleeding will be avoided. So I believe that might have saved his life too. It's a very sad one, because he's just a young boy trying to feed his family. And something I like about a promoter like Eddie and what he's involved in, the bout that happened last weekend, you see that for Lawrence Okolie versus Ngabu,
Okolie, is that a Nigerian?
He's a Nigerian. He's a Nigerian. He eats our food 100%. He's a very, very cool guy. Though I'm not a fan of the way he boxes. He's a very rough guy, but he knows
You
his
like Johnson?
Huh?
How can you like Johnson and not be a fan of Okolie?
If you watch Okolie fight, Okolie, like, he hugs you to death.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way.
Squeeze the life out of you.
Squeeze
Yeah,
the life out
octopus,
of you.
octopus.
But Deontay will not really hold you until it's hot.
Yeah.
And Lawrence and Okolie I say Lawrence and Okolie. Okolie and Deontay Wilder are actually similar in that they're always looking to set up the right hand.
Yeah.
And that was what he did yesterday. He set up his right hand, and immediately it landed, the referee jumped in and waved up the fight. So I'm sure they've, at the end, I'll credit him for that, sorry. He's sort of been speaking about it, that watch out for the fighters. Don't let them take unnecessary punishment. there's a lot of life to live after boxing.
That's true.
So you should not die because just for entertainment. We should also watch after you. Same with David Price. David Price was taking so many punches to the head, and before you knew it, the referee waved it off. No, sorry, his corner waved it off. So that's people already looking out for the fighters.
Safety measures.
Safety measures coming into it.
I will come back to you. However, I will need to reach out to somebody who will never ever hit the canvas, home or away. The guy is performing back to back. Let's go to the United States and take some of the best of basketball from Ayotunde Onobolu.
Basketball fans, thank y'all for tuning in to the best of basketball with me, Ayo, on the Sports Lounge, only on Elegbete TV. And as you can see, I'm on the mountain top right here. It's called the Enchanted Rock in Fredericksburg, Texas. And now you can see some undeveloped areas in Texas, just catching some fun right here. All right, so let's talk some basketball. It's safe to say we've seen 1 week of action in the NBA, and here I just want to share with you some of the things I've learned. The Los Angeles Clippers are as good as we thought they were. Those guys are bad boys. In the season opener against the Los Angeles Lakers, Kawhi Leonard showed the whole world, I am the boss in LA right now. Who the hell is LeBron James? He was the king, but the throne belongs to me. He absolutely torched the Lakers. And those Clippers are so good that without Paul George in the first week, they were still dominant. I mean, look at this. Patrick Beverley opened up defending LeBron James. If we're on a video game, it's toast for Patrick Beverley. LeBron James will absolutely bake him, but that did not happen. They limited LeBron James to only 19 points. He flirted with the triple-double a little bit. Anthony Davis was all over the place. He didn't play quite well. And then the Clippers showed us, you know what? That's just one angle of us. Check out the next angle. They went to open up the Chase Center in San Francisco, the new home of the Golden State Warriors. And Patrick Beverley said, did they say Steph Curry could be MVP this season? Let me have him. He guarded Steph Curry. Steph Curry finished with 23 points, went 2 for 11 from three-point land, and he committed 8 turnovers. Patrick Beverley, Kawhi didn't need to score much. He became a facilitator, had a career-high 9 assists and only 1 turnover. What kind of team is that? And of course, the sweetest part, it's not even Kawhi. We know who Kawhi is. It's not Patrick Beverley. We know who the hell he is. But look at the 2 guys who came off the bench, Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams. It was so sweet that courtside analyst Reggie Miller said, oh my goodness, look at the 2 guys coming in. It was an absolute devastating loss for the Golden State Warriors that brought them to reality. They are not as good as they were in the past 5 years. What am I trying to say? I told you last episode that the general managers agreed that the Los Angeles Clippers will win the NBA title in 2020. A lot of people said it's too early to predict, but I'm sure after the first few games, y'all can agree with me that these guys are the real deal and they're doing so great even without Paul George. Question, what happens when Paul George comes in? That's going to be by far the best perimeter defensive team in the whole of NBA history. Dang! Man, I can't wait to see what the next few weeks will unfold as far as these Los Angeles Clippers will be. The Lakers have a lot of work to do to determine chemistry and how exactly they want to play. The Warriors, I don't know, man. The Celtics, the jury's still out on them. I'm not convinced by what they can do. The 76ers have a lot of work to do. They played well the first, few games, not being so convincing. They have a lot of work to do, but I'm raving about the Clippers, man. Come on now. These guys are pretty damn good. You got to watch out for them all through the season. And on that note, I'll be calling it a wrap on this episode of The Best of Basketball with me. Your next episode, we'll continue to look as the NBA season progresses and we'll continue to check our permutations and our combinations. But for now, I'll be handing you back to the team of legends in the studio as they take the show to the next notch, baby. You know what I'm saying? And until next time I come your way, it's clutch time, baby.
All right, guys. What's your reaction to Ayo's take on the new NBA season?
You see, Ayo is more, to me, of a basketball wizard. 4 or 5 weeks ago when he said that the team to look out for is LA Clippers, some people came on our YouTube channels and they were saying things. People sent me DM that this Ayo, what does he know about basketball? And I remember I replied when I said that I'm the guy, I'm the chef of this thing. And as chef the mission of this thing, anybody I pick here is tried and tested. I can put my reputation and credibility on the line. Guys like, oh, this guy would mess your channel up. And then I was so interested. I spent my time watching the LA Clippers, LA Lakers game. Anthony Davis and LeBron James started off. LeBron is LeBron. You will see that big block, left hand block. You will see that all up in your face, slamming and all that. But Clippers were Clippers. But then I felt it was a fluke. I said, okay, let them go play the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry have been, given the chance to do all the 3-pointers, do everything. I felt, oh, Steph Curry will come to the party. My brother, it not happen like that to
Korean food.
Golden State Warriors, elephant, na egg lay.
Oh.
You know, born pikin. Because there was nothing they could do. They couldn't stop the Clippers. It was a different Clipper. But for me, one of the games this past week that really got me was the Harden Westbrook situation. Two teammates almost fighting on the court. That was terrible for me. But I think that Ayo got it all spot on, and I just hope it continues like this. And Clippers are not just having it though.
Okay, that's two teammates fighting. Reminds me of Drogba and Michael Ballack fighting over, I think it was a free kick against Manchester United. They later won the game 2-1 in the Premier League. Now, I'll be going to you, Benjamin. We were talking about safety in the sport of boxing before. I don't know why it's called a sport in the first place. And I know there's one other sport called UFC. It's UFC, right?
Yeah.
Seems to be more brutal than boxing, and it's also recognized as a sport too. What's your take? This looks like violence. People getting licenses to end people's lives.
Like brutality made public. Giving TV, giving a name called sport, that's just UFC. To me, ordinarily, watching it, there's a fighter a time, I was watching one UFC and they interviewed him, he said, I love UFC. He said, this is the only sport I'm being paid to kill someone. I was like...
Can you imagine?
I just watched the highlights of his fight and the way bloody the other opponent was. I was asking myself, who let this happen? Ordinarily,
kids watch these things.
There's a rating for it.
No, but in today's world, can you stop kids from watching TV?
Okay, so let me come back to you, Toby.
Yes, please.
Something happened over the course of the last weekend. Can you talk us through it briefly?
Is it your birthday?
Yes, my birthday.
Is that what happened?
No,
That was one of the major events.
I got the perfect birthday gift. Although my prediction for the main event for the bout that happened last weekend,
yes,
just Taylor versus Progre. I had predicted that Progre was going to win, but I was shocked. Not shocked, because these are two A-level fighters. They know their craft extremely well, and the bout was very interesting. You would love to see my round by round reaction. I was cheering on, because Taylor only knows a style of fighting, which is impose his physicality in the match. I was thinking Progre was going to be a bit versatile. It wasn't going to engage in the stamina fight with Taylor, because I know Taylor is going to win that aspect of the fight. But from the first round, the second round, as I saw that Progre wasn't improving on his craft, maybe trying to dance around a bit. I already tweeted and said I'm disappointed with Progre. So Taylor went on, and Taylor put in a very good fight. He used his stamina well, was whipping the body. Progre too didn't step back, because he's actually a very tough guy.
Yeah.
He boxed him very well, but after the fight, so many of my friends on Twitter, they were like, it was a close fight. I'm like, it was close. I would score it a draw or a Josh Taylor win. I will not give Progre this fight, because Taylor came to impose his will on the fight, and he got it. So it's actually made me also think about I want Terence Crawford to fight either of these guys, preferably the winner, and show these guys how to box on the back foot and beat a supposed brawler like
the way this
Josh
fine boy
Taylor
is describing boxing.
And then,
like, we should give you gloves now, you will box somebody.
then also But my advice for Josh Taylor is he should try and unify, become undisputed with Jose Ramirez first before he moves to 147. And certainly, I wouldn't want Terence Crawford to come down from 147 to 140 just to prove this point. So I hope and I believe they meet sometimes at 147, and we can really know who is the best in this boxing.
Don't you think it's high time boxing gets a VAR? Just like football. Based on the depth and the way it's going.
VR, how do you do it?
Like,
I punch you, then we'll judge again whether I make I punch you again.
Maybe they get a doctor standing behind the ring.
No,
know
they
the
are
amount of
doctors.
No, they are
punches.
doctors.
They are doctors. This last weekend, towards the end of the 12th round, or towards going into the 12th round, I saw Taylor's eyes. His left eye was swollen, and I was scared for his eye socket. I was like, I was shouting, Taylor, protect this your eyes, because it could go. And assuming it happened around the 9th round, that's grounds to call off the fight. So I'm sure the corner just said, okay, Taylor, because he was moving around in the 12th round a bit more than he did throughout the fight, just to protect the eyes. And I'm happy that he finished the fight on his feet, because that was what I was already shouting at my television.
Oh.
Finish it on your feet. Finish this fight on your feet.
All right. So now, one area where Nigeria is undisputed is in the under-17 football category. Interestingly, Nigeria defeated Hungary 4-2 in their first match.
Yeah.
So, using that as a yardstick, let's go back a little bit to previous categories. From 2001 to 2019, Nigeria has won the Golden Ball Award 3 times. Yep. Kelechi Nwakale, Kelechi Iheanacho, and Sani Emmanuel. I can't remember where Sani Emmanuel currently is playing. I don't know where Nwakale is still somewhere playing for a B team or something, and Kelechi traded Manchester City's bench for the Wilderness of Leicester. I am concerned. Why do our star boys from the under-17 category not make it to the top in football?
I would love to answer this question the way, because a lot of people, this conversation have raised so much eyebrow. So many people say that age cheating is the reason why they can't progress from under 17, that we use overage men to win under 17 and then we can't go into under 20 and they can't be seen in the Super Eagles. That's a lie. The reason why that happens is because we don't have a league. That's just it. And then our economic factor. And there's a long analysis that should take more than this time. But let me try and squeeze it into this 1 minute you've given to me. This is what happened when we come back from under 17. First off, the reason why we win under 17 more than every other country is that we take 2 years to prepare. No matter how dumb, dull, foolish you are, if you prepare for anything for 2 years, you should be very good. No other teams get the kind of preparation, no other Nigerian team get the kind of preparation that our under 17 get. They always stay in camp minimum 18 months. That's a long time for the coach to prune and shop and get his right set of players together, his philosophy, his ideology to them. There's no club holding them back. Having said that, when we come back from under 17, like you see Toni Kroos, he came back from the under 17 World Cup, he was in Germany. He went back to his club academy and was groomed and continued till he moved to Real Madrid. You understand? With Bayern Munich and the club before Bayern Munich or so. Now look at every other player, it's the same thing. It's only in Nigeria where you come back from under 17, you are a 16, 15, 17-year-old boy. You automatically move from the back of the line to the front of the line. You are now the breadwinner for your family. Your father becomes your errand boy. Your mother becomes your phone carrier. And your life changes. You don't go to train anymore. You are waiting for one agent, hopefully, for one agent to come take you to a club in Europe that you don't know yet. And sometimes it takes them 1 year, 6 months, you know, all of these controversies. Why all of the sports broadcasters, sports media is hovering around you like fly on feces. And then you're confused. There's no grooming anymore. There's no training anymore. Don't forget this person is under 17. Let's even say we cheated with age. At 20, at 25, none of us here knew our right from our left in taking decisions. Then you expect these people to take the right decision. By the time they get to Europe, they have to deal with acclimatizing to new environment, food, coaches, style of play, sometimes change of position. All of that kills the footballer because he wasn't ripe enough to go to that kind of environment I went to. Let me give you some big players. Antoine Griezmann moved from Spain to Spain. Atletico Madrid to Barcelona. He's still struggling to adapt. When Drogba came to Chelsea, he struggled almost one full season to adapt. True. Thierry Henry, that have won the World Cup before he came to Arsenal, it took him over 12 games and 3 months to adapt. But we bring under 17 from Africa, going to civilized country where they don't take light. Where so the roads are
You
well
just have to say
paved.
that.
Too many things are too comfortable. It's like solving a blind problem and exposing the person to halogen light. It will get permanently blind. That's the real problem. And if we have a league that absorbs these players as soon as they come back from the under 17 World Cup, the grooming process will be better. They get to under 21 and then they become better. But you see these players after under 17, they are not breadwinners. The pressure on them is heavier than an American crane. How can they become good players?
Well, those are some wicked shots from the elect veteran himself. Nobody could have said it any better. How time flies when you're having fun on the show, guys. Unfortunately, we would have to shut down for this week. We cannot do that without, first of all, appreciating the guys that have taken their time to come on the show. Toby Dada, thank you so much for coming. Benjamin, thank you. And the Legbete himself.
I can't guarantee you guys that I'll be here again. so that it doesn't look like I'm wicked. I'll be here again if you guys invite me.
Of course, definitely you'll receive a notification from
Where's
us
Emmanuel
shortly.
Sebastian?
Yeah. Talking about Emmanuel Sebastian, Emmanuel, we need you to supply us some beautiful in-swingers from the final game of the Surulere League. And we'll be signing out with clips from Emmanuel Sebastian. See you guys again next week. Adios.
Reporting live from the Legacy Beach of the Lagos National Stadium, Surulere, and it's the finals of the Surulere Regional League. 34 teams streamlined into 8 for the playoffs, and we've seen 8 teams go down. But here we have it, the final to Goshen Stars and Box to Box Football Club. What a game we just saw in our hands. A lot of teams had a rough performance right there in this playoff. The likes of the Royals, Starbase FC, they didn't perform to expectations in this playoff. But we have two teams with different style of play right here in the final. Goshen Stars up against Box to Box Football Club. What a game we saw! It was a game of two halves. Box to Box were the better team. They had the chances, but they didn't convert. It was an awful game for them. They had this game in the front of their hands, chances after chances. Goshen scored an early goal in the first half, but they held on. They defended, but it was all box to box in this game. They just couldn't convert their chances. How closer can you get? They hit the woodwork. The goalkeeper made better saves, but it was not the day for box to box. But Goshen Stars, it was a wonderful victory. They showed great character. The coach Abe, his team, he drilled his team very well defensively, just like we see of Jose Mourinho out there in the English Premier League. So they defended perfectly. They held on to their lead, but they carried the day all the way, and it was a 1-0 victory. A goal they scored from early in the first half, but they were right there at the death. But box to box, they were so unlucky today. They had so many chances to get an equalizer in this game and to kill off this game. But it was just not their day, I tell you. And here we have it, guys. Goshen Stars. Just to remind you, these two teams, they played themselves in the regular league season. It was a 1-1 draw. Maybe they had scores to settle. But right here in this final, Goshen Stars took the day. Coach Abe was on the sidelines, giving instructions to the team. But they have the day finally. As you can see behind me, the celebrations are still going on right here. The fans, Goshen Stars, they came out in their numbers. They brought the fans. I can tell you for free that they have the largest number of fans right here in the Legacy Beach today. And the fans were with them all through the game. They were able to hold on to their lead. And finally, the team from the island, part of Lagos, they clinched the victory right here in the Surulere Regional League. Goshen Stars Football Club. Let's take it right here, guys.